It was a Monday. Not just any Monday, but one of those Mondays that start with spilled coffee and end with burnt toast. At least that's how it felt for Sarah, a senior tech support specialist at Tech Solutions Inc. The office was already buzzing with the familiar chaos of ringing phones and frantic keyboard clicks. Sarah, a whiz with a computer and known for her calm demeanour, was ready to tackle whatever the day threw her way. Little did she know, a true hero moment awaited. Sarah took a sip of her now cold coffee and glanced at her monitor. A new ticket popped up, marked urgent. It was from Mr. Thompson, the CEO of GreenTech Industries, a major client. Internet outage, entire office down, need immediate assistance. The message flashed in bold red letters. Sarah knew this was a big deal. GreenTech relied heavily on its internet connection for everything. This wasn't just an inconvenience, it was a potential disaster. Without wasting a second, Sarah grabbed her trusty toolkit and headed straight for GreenTech's headquarters. She knew every minute counted in a situation like this. As she drove, Sarah tried to anticipate the problem. Was it a simple server glitch, a faulty router, or something more complicated? She had a knack for troubleshooting, but even the best technician couldn't know everything until they saw the situation firsthand. One thing was certain, Sarah was determined to get GreenTech back online as quickly as possible. Sarah arrived at GreenTech to find a scene of controlled panic. Employees were huddled together, whispering anxiously. The normally bustling office was eerily quiet, the silence broken only by the hum of idle computers. Mr. Thompson, a man who usually exuded confidence, looked visibly stressed. He greeted Sarah with a relieved sigh. "Thank goodness you're here, Sarah. We've been completely offline for over an hour. Our entire system is down. We can't send emails, access files, or even make calls. It's a nightmare," Mr. Thompson explained, his words tumbling out in a rush. Sarah, a calming presence in the midst of the chaos, offered a reassuring smile. "Don't worry, Mr. Thompson, I'm here to help. Let's take a look and see what's going on." She knew that a calm and collected approach was essential in these situations. Panicking wouldn't solve anything. Sarah followed Mr. Thompson to the server room, the heart of GreenTech's network. The air in the room was thick with the hum of machinery. Sarah immediately got to work. She started by checking the most obvious culprit, the server itself. But the server seemed to be fine. Next, she checked the router and the modem. Everything seemed to be in order. Sarah frowned. This wasn't a simple fix. Something else was going on. Sarah continued her investigation, carefully examining every cable and connection in the server room. She knew that even a small detail, easily overlooked, could be the source of the problem. As she worked, she noticed something peculiar. One of the power strips, the one connected to the modem and router, had a red light instead of a green one. That's not right," she muttered to herself. Sarah bent down to get a closer look. To her surprise, the power strip was slightly pulled out from the wall socket. It wasn't completely unplugged, but the connection was loose enough to disrupt the power supply. Could this be it? She wondered. Sarah carefully pushed the power strip back into the socket, making sure it was securely plugged in. The red light turned a reassuring green. "Let's see if that did the trick," she said, a glimmer of hope in her voice. She returned to the main office and asked Mr. Thompson to try accessing the internet. A collective gasp of relief filled the room as the company logo appeared on Mr. Thompson's computer screen. The internet was back! Section 4, Troubleshooting 101. Just when everyone thought the crisis was averted, the internet connection sputtered and died. The GreenTech logo vanished from the screen, replaced by the dreaded no internet message. A wave of groans swept through the office. Sarah's heart sank. It was clear that the unplugged power strip was only a small part of a much larger problem. She needed to dig deeper. Sarah went through her mental checklist of potential culprits. She reset the circuit breaker just in case. She contacted the internet service provider to check for any outages in the area, but they reported everything was fine on their end. She meticulously checked the modem and router settings, but everything seemed to be in order. Sarah was starting to feel the pressure. "This is so frustrating," she exclaimed, running a hand through her hair. "I've checked everything I can think of, and I still can't figure out what's wrong." Mr. Thompson, his initial relief replaced by a renewed sense of urgency, tried to remain optimistic. "We appreciate you doing everything you can, Sarah. I'm sure you'll find the problem." Just then, a young intern named Emily approached Sarah. "Excuse me, Sarah," Emily began hesitantly. "I overheard you talking about the internet being down. I was just wondering if it could have anything to do with the construction work going on outside. They've been digging up the street all week." Emily's observation, though seemingly insignificant, sparked a new line of thought for Sarah. "Construction work, you say?" she asked, her brow furrowed in thought. Could Emily be onto something? It wasn't uncommon for construction crews to accidentally damage underground cables. If they had hit a fiber optic cable, it could explain the intermittent internet connection. "Emily, you might be onto something," Sarah said, her voice laced with a mix of excitement and apprehension. "I'm going to check it out." Sarah thanked Emily for her valuable input and immediately went outside to investigate the construction site. The noise of jackhammers and excavators filled the air as Sarah approached the construction foreman. "Excuse me," Sarah said over the roar of machinery. "I'm here from GreenTech Industries. We've been experiencing internet problems all morning, and we were wondering if you might have hit a cable while you were digging." The foreman, a burly man with a sun-weathered face, looked up from his blueprints. "Let me check with my guys," he replied gruffly. He barked a few orders and one of the workers disappeared into a trench. A few minutes later, the worker emerged holding a length of thick orange cable. "Found the culprit," he announced, shaking his head. "Looks like we nicked a fiber optic cable." The foreman apologized profusely for the inconvenience, explaining that they had been unaware of the cable's location. Sarah, relieved that the mystery was finally solved, contacted the ISP and explained the situation. She emphasized the urgency of the matter, stressing the importance of a quick resolution. The ISP, understanding the severity of the situation, dispatched a repair crew to GreenTech immediately. Within a few hours, the damaged cable was repaired, and the internet connection at GreenTech was fully restored. A cheer erupted from the GreenTech office as employees were finally able to log back on and resume their work. Mr. Thompson, his face beaming with gratitude, approached Sarah and shook her hand firmly. "Sarah, you're a lifesaver. I can't thank you enough for your quick thinking and persistence. You went above and beyond today, and we're all incredibly grateful." Sarah, exhausted but exhilarated, accepted his thanks with a humble smile. "It's all part of the job, Mr. Thompson," she replied. As she left GreenTech, Sarah couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. She had started the day like any other, but she had ended it as a true tech support hero.